Hey, on this very special WrestleMania edition of the Shooting Straight Wrestling Podcast, we cover the WrestleMania results, all the news and action from the weekend, as well as the Hall of Fame. This and more when we come back.
But to beat a man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo! This a man! What the rock? Oh, Cookie at Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Hey, we're back with the WrestleMania edition of the Shooting Straight Wrestling Podcast. And we just got done watching WrestleMania literally, 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and awesome show. You know what? Actually, the show I think was blah, but the ending, I think, saved it all.
Completely saved it. And we got a lot to talk about there. But let's kind of start with how the weekend kind of progressed. We know that the Hall of Fame happened. The Hall of Fame was awesome.
Yeah.
Off the hook, in my opinion. Best Hall of Fame, I think, in a long time. Definitely great. They started with Rikishi. That was great. I mean, the Usos introduction and Rikishi's speech. Scotty 2 Hotty a little upset they didn't get a mention in there, but I mean...
you hear a lot of those guys, like Kevin Nash even said it, I'm not going to start rambling names because I'm going to forget someone and they're going to get their feelings hurt. So, yeah.
Exactly. Great speech, and then Alundra Blaze stole the show, in my opinion. Great speech. I loved the prop with the belt, bringing the belt back out of the garbage, and said that the belt came home. I loved how she tossed in that she's been the reigning WWE Ladies Champion for over 20 years. Just
nice moment with her husband too.
Oh, and that was off the hook. I thought that was great. I thought the U.S. military, awesome that they did that, and I thought he got such a great response from the crowd and the WWE universe, the superstars and everybody. That was great. That was really great. Tatsumi Fujinami, short and sweet acceptance speech, and I dropped the ball.
Very well deserved.
Yeah, very well deserved. I dropped the ball and kind of not really given a whole lot into his induction, but then I kind of read on all his work with New Japan and some of the stuff and all the stuff that he really pioneered, not just on the inside of the ring but on the outside of the ring, and that's where I dropped the ball. I want to apologize for that because this guy definitely deserves to be in this hall, and I totally agree with what you said last week about how WWE recognizes that and just the pioneering that he's done.
Yeah.
I completely am glad that he's there. Arnold Schwarzenegger, very humble.
Yeah, you know what? I liked what he had to say. He was very honored. You could tell.
Yeah.
Very respectful. Personal highlight for me was Connor the Crusher.
Definitely.
I'm not scared to admit that I shed a few tears during that speech. It was.
Me too. And then, my wife and I, we have a 6-year-old boy who was born with a rare condition called Pierre-Robin sequence. And fortunately for him, he's had 31 surgeries since birth to present, and he's been able to overcome a lot of his obstacles thanks to some of the things that the doctors have been able to do. We believe in God strongly, so we believe that was a lot of it too. Unfortunately for Connor, at 8 years old, his cancer was not curable, and there's a lot of kids out there that are struggling just like he was. And so although my son has been lucky and able to fight his battle successfully, unfortunately for Connor, and like Daniel Bryan said, just meeting him, you'd never know, and you just see that in the video packages they show. I mean,
my favorite one is when he meets AJ, and this was during her crazy phase, and he looks at her and he says, "Stop your craziness."
Loved it.
There was a couple things that lost it for me. One was when his dad said he'll always be my best friend, because as a father, that feeling, and I couldn't imagine having to come to terms with losing your 8-year-old son who was just full of life. And
that just completely, it kind of touches home for parents. I know Steph and Triple H really felt that from the parent point of view.
And and a lot of people knock WWE for being this global, whatever you want to call them, world order or whatever. But you know what? They do a lot of great things, and one of the great things they are doing is Connor's Cure.
Absolutely.
And they're raising a ton of money for that, and you can't, I don't care who you are, you can't slide them for that.
Not at all. And I loved the fact that Dana Warrior came out before and kind of spilled her heart and just really touched on some personal stuff with Warrior, her husband, and the fact that he actually introduced this as an idea for an award. which was amazing because it's been a year and I completely kind of forgot about that, and that's just awesome. And just the fact that she could be involved in this and kind of that whole the spirit of being a warrior, and like you said, if WWE can keep this up, that would be great. Just presenting something like this, and like she challenged the fans to raise $1 million in a month, and that she'd come down and do something silly, maybe body slam Hulk Hogan, she joked about. But I mean, seriously, I think that the Connor's Cure is awesome. I love it. I love the idea. I've seen a lot of that up and close and personal in Phoenix Children's Hospital, myself and my wife. So we really kind of know what a lot of these families go through, and that help and that assistance, and maybe that cure one day, like the father said, Steve said, he hoped that maybe kids wouldn't have to face this one day. And just emotional to kind of see him be there and be part of that. And just,
and you could tell how rough it was on him. Like,
it was a big time struggle, and WWE stepped up big time, big time on that one.
Bushwhackers were great.
Very entertaining. I've been knocking them for a long time, and you got to realize, I guess it's not just based on what they do in the ring, because they didn't really do a whole lot title-wise and stuff in WWE. But it's also sports entertainment, and that's what I forget. And they were great entertainers, and I loved their speech. I loved the fact that Butch mentioned how that Royal Rumble '92, I think, when Quake threw Luke out, he came marching in, lasted a second, got thrown out, marched back. Butch was in there for 20 minutes. They got the same paycheck. It was great, and it was sad to see Butch in such horrible health condition, but great to kind of get that sports entertainment accolade. That they deserved it, and I'll throw my hands up on that one. They definitely deserved it. And Larry Zbyszko, very long speech. He was humble, kind of reiterated the point again with Bruno Sammartino, but he definitely deserves to be in there. So it was great to see him get in there.
And then Lanny Poffo for Macho Man. It was kind of, I don't know, it was an awkward speech by Hogan. There was obviously some rifts between them in the past. Who knows what the real story is, and we might not ever.
Exactly.
But, he was humble. He put the Macho Man up. Didn't make it about himself. So
big time.
Definitely a great thing.
I know we kind of talked about this. You kind of have always kind of gotten irritated about the genius's voice. I loved those poems. I don't know what it was, especially the ending of the speech where he did the Macho King coronation speech. But he did it with the Macho Man being inducted, and then instead of Sensational Sherry getting the nod for Queen, he mentioned Macho Man's wife. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was classy. Yeah, definitely.
I'm just glad he's in there. I'm glad that he's finally home where he belongs, and it was great that the WWE finally did that.
Then Kevin Nash, a great speech. Shawn Michaels, never disappoints. And
Shawn's something else.
Yeah. So I love the Hall of Fame. I thought it was one of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Went kind of long, but it was definitely worth every minute of it.
Yeah. Got a partner here in the studio, folks. Sorry about that.
Two-man crew. Sorry about that guy. WrestleMania, or no, actually there was one other thing that happened over the weekend.
Access or
the NXT?
Yeah, NXT Access. I've heard from people who were there that it was great. They had an NXT event that legit 10,000 people showed up for. It was people who knew the product. The crowd was lively. They knew all the catchphrases. They knew everyone was there. Charlotte and Sasha Banks had a great match. They went about 15 minutes, and it was one of the biggest pops of the night. Finn Balor never disappoints. There's a lot of people on that roster that really are way above and beyond anything else, and I think I almost think it's going to become a brand of its own.
Exactly, and just the way that it's being received, and the fact that here on the West Coast where it's not been, this is the first time, and for people to remember, some of the phrases and stuff like that, just amazing. And the fact that they involved them.
That many people showed up. JR actually showed up and sat in the front row for the whole 3-hour show.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that tells you something. When a wrestling guy like JR will go there and just watch an NXT promotion just for the whole 3 hours, it tells you how good it is.
Exactly. And then there was the event we just witnessed right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I wasn't disappointed. A lot of times in films and stuff and script writing, they'll tell you it's not how you begin, it's how you end it. Exactly. And I kind of like all of a sudden, when we were going into that main event, I thought, it's an okay WrestleMania. It is what it is. But now all of a sudden, I'm pumped about it. I'm excited. They did their job.
Completely just kind of threw us off the wing. And we'll go in order here. And I know I had some family and friends that were there. You guys were lucky. This was ended up to be an awesome show. They opened up on the pregame with the tag title 4-way.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was great. They had some great spots.
Much hard work in that one. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. The timing in that, some of those moves. Yeah.
Spot on. And then, they kind of worked the Jay injury, the Jay Uso injury into it. We knew we actually debated on the show whether he was even going to be in the match, and then the WrestleMania payday got brought up, and he was definitely there. I like how they worked that into the storyline. They were able to be there. His brother worked hard to keep them in the match in terms of them being represented, and then we saw Natty and Naomi kind of go out on the outside.
And Natty looking very good too. Natty, outfit she was wearing really,
Everyone knows I'm a Bret Hart guy and a Hart family guy, and let me tell you, the Anvil Jim Neidhart definitely left his mark in the business with that daughter named Natalie.
Yeah, and thank God she didn't look like him. But anyway.
Well, definitely. She also presented Alundra Blaze into the Hall of Fame the night before, and she looked stunning then too.
So in that one we had Tyson Kidd and Cesaro go over.
Yep.
I thought, like I said, it was a great match. It had some great spots. Definitely a spot fest.
Yeah, and it was good. I was telling you, I like the Matadors work in that. I think they definitely have earned a spot to maybe kind of fight for those titles over the next couple of weeks or months or something like that. We both picked them to win this match, so far we're both right at it, 1-0.
Oh, that's right. For those of you who don't know, we had a bet going. Whoever had the least picks was going to get a pie in the face. So we'll go over the card and let you know the score and who's going to end up losing. Okay.
Second was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. This was probably the hardest one to pick too.
Yeah, you know what? One of my favorite spots on it was the Curtis Axel body surf. To start it off, everyone just picks him up. Literally, all the contestants pick him up and just throw him out. And so he finally was eliminated.
Poor Axelmania. It was funny, but definitely, and it kind of played out the way that we said that it would. Yeah. The final four was Ryback, Miz, Mizdow, and Big Show.
It was a couple of things. It was nice to see Goldust in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It kind of sucks that they kind of went away with the Golden Stardust match, but it was definitely good to see him involved.
And then I got Titus O'Neil took a really bad bump when he got thrown
out of the ring.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he's going to get hurt off of that, but it didn't look good.
It looked painful, definitely.
Yeah.
So.
And then I liked the Big Show Cesaro throwback to last year.
That was pretty cool. Like I got goosebumps a little bit. I was like, oh, Cesaro's going to win. You're like, no, he's not. He's tag team champion. It's not going to happen. And I'm like, I don't know. It was cool. That was a good feel. I love when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. So we had the final four, like you were saying.
Ryback, Miz, Mizdow, and Big Show. And we kind of picked Mizdow and Miz to kind of be the last two with somebody. Yeah. We both picked Damien Sandow, so we both lost this match. It did come down to Damien Sandow and Big Show. Sandow did throw out Miz, so the end of that whole tag team is
I'm sure we'll see more of that tomorrow on Raw, too. Yeah, the fallout from that. And you know what? I have no problem with the Big Show winning this.
Not at all.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah.
I think.
And we were talking about he's never really had a WrestleMania moment, and if he were to win it, this would kind of be his moment. There you go.
Yeah.
And then we both said that because he was Andre's son, at least that's what the Giant was portrayed as back in WCW 95, whatever it was. Just kidding, he's not really Andre's son.
Yeah. You know, my favorite, not to get off topic, but when the NWO first came in the WCW and the Giant joined the NWO, at the very end of a Nitro, they were all, after trashing the stage and everything, they were all up there, and Scott Hall says, hey, are you really Andre's son? And he's like, oh, man, and they go off the air. That's one of my favorite WCW moments of all time.
Gosh,
Thought that was great.
Hilarious. So then the show kicked off, good kickoff, and then it started with the Intercontinental title match right away.
Yeah.
We definitely thought I thought this was going to be more of the middle of the show match, but they started off with it, and that was Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett, who is the Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, Luke Harper, R-Truth, Dean Ambrose.
Yep. And you know what? I thought it was great.
I thought
Ziggler really shined out through it.
How about the little mohawk ponytail going on? The old school 1980s jean jacket.
Yeah. You know? That's kind of his gimmick, though, you know. And then, I think everyone shined. R-Truth had a couple great spots.
It was definitely a spot fest. We seen Luke Harper powerbomb Dean Ambrose outside.
Oh, his facial expressions, Luke Harper, are just unbelievable. When he gets hit by something and he sits up and there's lights are on but nobody's home. Look,
he exemplifies that to the fullest. And then Bad News Barrett nailing everybody with the bull hammer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was
almost looked like he was going to win it at that moment.
It did. And then just great work. Daniel Bryan ended up winning the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's 1 point for me.
He takes the lead. I picked Dean Ambrose, so definitely lost that one. But we actually talked about this during and after, and Daniel Bryan will bring credibility back to the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, and the rumors are like Finn Balor's getting called up and a couple other NXT guys. So and you got Dolph Ziggler. I think the matchups for that IC title all of a sudden are going to be really good.
They're stacking up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it works out, and when we were doing this last week, I really didn't think of it that way. But the best, hardest worker for that Intercontinental title, well, Dolph Ziggler could definitely be in that category. But Daniel Bryan is definitely the person that should do that. And plus, it's his first Intercontinental title reign.
Yeah, and I mean, if they don't want him to be the number one guy, why not make that IC title the number one title, the title people want to see?
They've got the people to do it.
Yeah.
And then there was Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, a great match. The two spots that really stood out for me were those sequences where it was RKO, it was curb stomp, and then the ending. Do you just want to jump right to the ending?
It was a good match. Let's not take away from the match. We both thought that it was going to be later on in the card also. Yeah. They opened up with the two best matches in terms of the work. And that, oh my gosh, that ending. Seth Rollins flies
goes to do a curb stomp, hits on the upper part of his back. Orton lifts up, grabs him in the RKO, comes back down, and it's over.
Cutter, not the RKO. Everyone knows that was my finisher. But anyways, loved the finish.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I didn't think it did any harm to Rollins at all.
We were both wrong with that pick because of that, because we both picked Rollins. We'd later find out why, but great match.
Yeah,
great match. Yeah. Sting versus Triple H.
I had my concerns about it because, both guys are getting a little older. I didn't know what they had planned, as far as having that length of a match and how it go. I think it turned out great. You had your back and forth. Each of them got their spots in.
Yeah, and we both talked about that. It was just very basic but very clean. Yeah. In terms of very crisp, I guess.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden DX comes running out, and you're like, what the heck is this? Awesome to see that crew together again. They get the upper hand, and wouldn't you know who comes out? The NWO. And then Hogan, Hall, and Nash come out, and then you got the dream matchup that everyone's always dreamed for. NWO versus DX. Who hasn't thought about that?
That was incredible, and I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. That was freaking cool.
Yeah, no matter, and that's the thing, these guys are timeless because, there was a point where the NWO was walking down the entranceway, and I swear to God, I thought maybe someone was going to have to come out with a wheelchair and help them out, but but I still pop for it, you know what I mean?
Me too. I was telling you, I was surprised that Hogan took a bump, got thrown into the turnbuckle by X-Pac. I believe that Billy Gunn blew out Kevin Nash's quad with a tackle or something. Yeah. And then Road Dogg, Razor looked like he's getting ready to go for the Razor's Edge, and then Road Dogg backdropped him. Yeah. All those three NWO guys took bumps, man. Let me tell you, that was amazing to see. The finish
was a little weak, in my opinion.
They put Triple H over. How do you feel about that? We both got that one wrong. I think a lot of people got that one wrong.
I don't know. Hopefully they do something more with Sting. I know he came out and said that this was probably going to be it for him, but then he did imply that he might be up for a SummerSlam or a
next year.
Yeah, and you know what? Tomorrow you never know because from what I'm hearing, Undertaker and Sting are both booked. I would love to see, and in the next WrestleMania in Texas, they got to put a lot of butts in the seats to fill that stadium. So why not tease an Undertaker Sting matchup?
It could happen.
Undertaker comes out, hey, I know what it's like to lose, and boom. And,
Very, very curious to see because at the end of the match, Triple H and Sting both shake hands. They both look like, okay, this is done, Didn't really lead anybody on from there. And then later on, we'll get to it, but Triple H kind of comes out and buries Sting. verbally. So I was kind of confused by that. Very, very interesting ending, but we're definitely going to see how it plays out tomorrow. We'll have another show following tomorrow because there's going to be a lot of fallout on tomorrow's Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, definitely.
Backstage interview with Daniel Bryan.
When I had brought it up, it was a funny little segment, but how tall is freaking Bret Hart? Did all the other superstars shrink? Like, he looked like he was a foot over everyone in there. Like, I don't know if it was the camera angle or what it was, but
I thought the same thing. Pat Patterson came out first to congratulate Daniel Bryan, as he was the first ever IC title holder.
Roddy Piper kisses him.
We both got that one wrong. We picked Pat to give him the kiss. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in full dragon gear comes out, then does a Macho Man. Oh, yeah. Ric Flair comes out and gives the classic woo, former Intercontinental Champion too, by the way. And then, of course, the Hitman, Bret Hart, comes out and then starts a little yes chant, and somebody gets a little irritated by all that. One, Ron Simmons, who comes out with the classic, damn!
Yeah, were you ever an IC champion? Damn!
If you remember, Farouk Assad came in with the silly condom-looking helmet.
That's right.
In his very first match and was competing in the Intercontinental title tournament. Never won it, thought he should have won it. Ahmed Johnson ended up winning it, but very interesting. Then there was the performance by Skylar Grey, and then she sung the WrestleMania theme song, and then Kitty came out and performed. It was all right. It was definitely seeing the fans going up to get their popcorn. We were definitely doing the same
It was
thing.
intermission. It
was definitely that. And then there was the Divas match, and it actually turned out to be a pretty good match.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I didn't really understand during the match, the very beginning, AJ gets knocked off the apron and is out for almost the whole match. I get it for adding a dramatic effect about her trying to make Paige trying to make the tag and no one being there. And it just seemed like a weird.
It was AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bella Twins, by the way. Nikki's the Divas champion, women's champion, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what it was, and they kind of teased it. We actually talked about it. Is she gonna pull the Sid at Saturday Night's Main Event when Hogan went for the tag and reached back and then not do the tag? And she actually did get back up on the apron and came back.
And then you had her submitting the women's champion.
Loved that,
Nikki.
I loved that because then that kind of sets them up, and so now will Paige and AJ kind of be like, well, I'm the one that submitted her. Well, I deserve it. I kicked their ass while you were knocked out or whatever. Yeah. Or is it just gonna keep going with kind of the direction that they're going? Definitely puts them on the forefront again, and they definitely deserve it.
Yeah, and then who knows, like we said, this is usually when they call up people from NXT. You got Charlotte that's right on the cusp of being called up.
Absolutely.
Sasha Banks the champion, but they did call up Paige last year, who was the champion at the time.
True.
So,
we definitely both talked about Charlotte maybe showing up tomorrow night on Raw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that'd be interesting. By the time this airs, we'll already be ready for our next show, and we'll find out if that happens or not. But that'd definitely be interesting. And we both got this match right.
Yeah.
So you're still ahead, by the way.
Okay.
Then there was the 2015 Hall of Fame class where they showed everybody.
Yeah, and that was great.
Awesome.
A recap. Yeah.
Definitely loved Medusa. I loved what she was wearing. Very awesome. Very awesome. And then we got right into, and this is actually we're gonna do the best interest thing, best entrance as well.
Okay. Yeah.
The U.S. title match, Rusev, the champion, versus John Cena. Actually,
I loved Rusev's entrance. I thought it was
awesome.
Spectacular. Yeah, I thought it was one of the best ones maybe I've ever seen, let alone.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely the best.
night.
Definitely the best one of the night so far tonight. Awesome. Coming out in that tank, I was like, dude, are you kidding me? I just wish he would have parked close enough to the stage to where he could have just walked off onto the stage and came down the ramp waving his flag and everything like that. Awesome interest. It just sucks that John Cena won the match, won the U.S. title. We both got that right, by the way. Yeah. But, man, Rusev...
Do you see that feud being over? Or
it's hard to tell. Now, they brought Lana back. Stunning as always. Got to throw that in there. We did know that she was coming back for this appearance. She'll go back and film the rest of her movie with Adam Edge Copeland. And, it appears because she fell down and then got hurt. And then Rusev kind of blamed her for the loss.
Yeah.
I don't know. We both kind of talked about it. Like, where does Rusev go from here? He's strong enough right now, in my opinion, to kind of not be a main eventer, but definitely be in that role of, okay, well, I've held the U.S. belt. I can get back.
Yeah.
John Cena's first title he ever won in WWE was the United States title.
See, that's what I don't know where they go with John Cena being that title holder. It's just it confuses me.
Well, I think they do the same thing that they've done with Daniel Bryan winning the Intercontinental title. They got these two top guys that are used to being on the top, used to being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion or contending for it. But now they kind of got a new class up there where those titles are being kind of contended. And so they've got all these other strong contenders. So let's put some credibility on these titles, give them to people that are bigger names, and maybe kind of bring some level of interest back into it. I mean, that's something I can.
I think, and we'll see where they go. But yeah, it makes total sense. I don't think they put a title on a main guy just to bury it.
Yeah, exactly. And you, a guy like John Cena, who may not be a crowd favorite 100%, but he's definitely somebody that a lot of the company is behind.
Oh yeah, he sells merch. He, people do come to see him. I consider him when I was a kid, Hulk Hogan was the big one. But adults were like, why do you like this?
Really?
Yeah. So and same with John Cena. The kids are, like they love John Cena, but the adults, are like this hokey pokey.
They were chanting, "John Cena sucks."
Yeah,
that was funny. But definitely. And then Daniel Bryan, of course, he's going to bring a lot of credibility to the Intercontinental title. Then there was the Stephen Hunter interview where they talked about the record-breaking 76,000 so many fans.
And we were saying, it was funny because I think you had brought it up, so what the authorities face now, and then all of a sudden Stephanie goes right back to, it's because of me.
Typical.
Yeah.
Loved it. And then The Rock comes out, and then we kind of were wondering, are they kind of teasing this Rock Triple H for WrestleMania 32 next year? Because they're going to do a lot of trying to get people involved and wanting to go to that show next year. And then Ronda Rousey at ringside. Oh my gosh, this is classic.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I knew she was there. We saw her, and then she has that crew. They call themselves the Four Horsewomen.
Yeah.
I saw them there. I thought, oh, that's cool. They got WrestleMania tickets. They're there. I am shocked that the UFC allowed her to get in there and get physical.
Very true.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Maybe because they don't have any fights for her lined up. She went through everybody. I don't know who she would fight next.
Exactly, and
judo through Triple H, which I thought was great. Arm barred Stephanie for a minute.
Steph tried to get out of it. She grabbed her back up into it, and tomorrow night Steph will be in a full-blown cast, or her arm will be completely removed or something. I don't know. They'll come up with something.
So what do you think we see something with her at WrestleMania next year?
It's possible, and we've been talking about this. I think we mentioned on News and Rumors a few weeks back about how she's interested in doing something with WWE later on, when her career in UFC is done. But I mean, this is a year away. That was awesome. As a wrestling fan, as an MMA part-time fan, I dug it. I loved it. I thought it was classic.
And it could be beneficial to both companies. UFC, even though they always say we're not competition, they basically are. They're not the same. If Dana White approves it, that could be major promotion for the UFC as well as, WWE.
And it's not just that, it's the UFC kicking the boss of the WWE's ass.
Yeah.
I mean, so that kind of on a personal level kind of throws some stuff in there too. Rock funny as always. That was classic.
Yeah.
And then,
so what do you think next year we see Rock Triple H at WrestleMania?
I mean, there was some Rock and Brock rumors, but who knows?
Yeah.
Very surprised that Triple H beat Sting, because I would have definitely thought that. I don't know what I would have thought, but now Rock and possibly Triple H, who knows?
Yeah.
Then there was The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. You know what? It was Undertaker looked good. Undertaker looked way better than he did last year.
Very much. And that match was
Bray Wyatt, I would give honorable mention to Bray Wyatt's entrance as well.
Oh yeah,
with the scarecrows.
That was great.
Yeah.
I know my 10-year-old daughter was definitely freaking out on that one.
And even our director Vicky was like, okay, so which one is the wrestler and which one? The scarecrows are the wrestlers.
It was freaky. It was freaky. I definitely loved that one. I thought Sting and Triple H's entrances were both pretty good too, by the way. But The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, great match. I mean, I knocked this match for quite a few weeks. I'm happy that The Undertaker won. That actually put me over in our little race, by the way. But great match. Oh my gosh. I mean, the work was just so clean. I loved how Bray Wyatt kind of kept looking at Undertaker like, oh my God, are you real? Are you really here?
My favorite spot was when he was doing the crab walk and Undertaker did the dead man rise, and then all of a sudden the crab went back into his shell. That's exactly what it looked like to me. He's all,
Classic. And I've been saying this forever. Bray Wyatt is already there. He's already a top-notch superstar. I don't think this loss hurts him at all.
And we'll see what happens tomorrow, because like I said, the Undertaker will be at Raw. Don't know if he'll be on Raw, but he'll be there.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be more than a one-year guy, if WrestleMania is going to be his last match next year maybe. But
He was in the
I-
promo, so it gives you a good idea that he will be there next year.
Extreme Rules is coming up, and I don't know if Undertaker is able to do a match with Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules, but I could totally see if Undertaker were to stick around and Bray Wyatt, the Undertaker puts Bray Wyatt over in an Extreme Rules match. Oh my gosh! I mean, because just great work by both guys. Undertaker looked good. All right, and then there was the WWE World Heavyweight Title match.
Yeah, you know what? It started off, it just had an aura about it. Both wrestlers came in, no glitz, no glamour. Like you saw the hype before. This was just a straight fight, like two guys coming in.
Ready to settle it, ready to get it
Yeah.
on, and they did right from the get-go.
Yeah, Reigns rushes Lesnar, puts him in, I don't know what kind of move that was, but kind of tries to lock him up in some kind of chokehold. Lesnar's throwing him around. And
I don't know if when Reigns did that, if one of his locks or one of his things from the Shield costume that he wears cut Bray up, or Brock up pretty good right from the start, or if it was a punch that we just missed.
Yeah,
But
I
knocking
think
him up.
swelled up.
Yeah,
Yeah, swelled
right away.
up during the
Right away.
And then it turned into Suplex City bitch is exactly what Lesnar called it. Throws him around like a rag doll for what, a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then we lost count. We were up 12, I think, suplexes
Yeah.
and 3 F5s, and we lost count. But
Yeah.
damn, it was a fight. And then Reigns just kind of smiled a lot of the time after he got tossed around ragdoll style.
Yeah, I think it was kind of
pissed Brock
showing,
off.
hey, you may be tough, but I can take a beating.
I'm not going to be John Cena SummerSlam. I'm going to be coming right back at you.
Yep.
And then he ended up tossing Brock into the turnbuckle outside the ring, split Brock up pretty
Yeah,
good.
he makes his comeback. He hits how many Superman punches?
3 Superman punches, 2 spears, and
then
couldn't beat the champion.
Yeah, we have a near fall there. They're both laid out, and all of a sudden some music hits, and I look over at you, and I'm like, what is that? And
The only reason I knew before he came out is his symbol was on the ground on
yeah,
the entrance stage.
yeah. So Seth Rollins comes out, and he's cashing Money in the Bank. I think the first time that I can ever remember that it happens during a match. Like
Yeah.
usually it's when
After the match, yeah.
yeah. So all of a
something
sudden he comes in, cashes it in, becomes a three-way.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Three-way
And,
rules, by
hits
the
the
way.
curb stop on Brock, goes to look at Roman Reigns, and then comes back. Brock kicks out of the curb. No, he's going to give him a second curb stop and throws him up in the F5. Roman Reigns comes in, spears. Then Seth Rollins hits the curb stop on Roman Reigns.
Then let's see where we are. I'm
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
lost
because
it.
he spears.
It happened so quick. I was like, I couldn't even really believe
So
what was going
Brock
on.
Lesnar has him up in the F5. Roman Reigns spears Brock Lesnar, putting down Seth Rollins, who then curb stops Roman Reigns,
Reigns,
pins him 1, 2,
picks it
3,
up.
becomes the new world champion.
And we were both wrong on that match, so we both tied at 4 right, 5 wrong, which we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But oh my God.
Yeah, I mean the whole week, or I would say the whole build up to WrestleMania period was if Brock Lesnar was going to drop the title and if Roman Reigns was ready to carry the title, and it became a non-factor because Seth Rollins, your new world champion.
And we kind of touched on it a little bit. What if Brock Lesnar didn't re-sign? If he wasn't going to re-sign, would this have been the finish anyways? Did they
Yeah.
kind of come up with this as a in-case finish? Did they change their minds because of the crowd reaction from Roman Reigns on not giving him the title?
Yeah.
Who knows? Lots of questions. Oh my God. Great feeling to see Seth Rollins with the World Heavyweight
Yeah,
title.
when we had
belt.
talked about that during, remember I said that I didn't think Roman Reigns was at that point to be world champion, but Seth Rollins was their workhorse. He's the one for the last year that's put in all the work.
And I definitely told you in the Shield, I definitely thought he was the best wrestler, but as a WWE marketable, presentable wrestler, I thought Roman Reigns was that guy, and I got it wrong, but let me tell you.
it's going to lead in, like now it's interesting which way they can go because you got Brock who has a complaint for his rematch. You have Roman Reigns who has a complaint, and now you have Randy Orton who beat him earlier in the night. So, I mean, all of a sudden you're setting up, you got 3 pay-per-views, if
Man,
not more,
if
3
not
feuds.
more at the
Yeah.
very least. And then there's still the whole swerve issue with Brock turning face or Roman Reigns getting Paul Heyman and turning heel or whatever. If they want to do that at some point, holy cow, man! This
Yeah.
just really big shocker. Loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Oh
I
my
don't think
God.
they could have ended it any better.
Absolutely not. Great show. Great
All
show.
right, so then we're going to, tomorrow, Monday Night Raw. We'll be doing our podcast next week, so watch for that, the drop. And we will see you all next week. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you in the funny pages, folks. See you next week.